Okay, so here we are live once again with another Master Universe Origins unboxing, and this is Turtles of Grayskull, Krang, alien brain in a Megator android. There's a picture on the side of Krang in his new android body, based on Megator. There's another shot on the side, and here's the piece of artwork on the back with Raphael going up against this big old monster android. He's got an axe in one hand and the mace clasped into the other wrist, Snake Mountain in the background, and it says, in a mad science experiment gone wrong, Krang crosses dimensions and discovers the strongest power in the universe, the power of Grayskull. Now, with a stronger, faster Megator android body, Krang will stop at nothing until the power is his. And it says, insert Krang into Megator android and swap hands with axe or mace. All right. So Krang is loosely based on the Utrom aliens from the original Ninja Turtles comics, and the Utrom weren't necessarily like bad guys. They were kind of like sort of like neutral, I guess. They weren't necessarily evil. Like any race. There were good ones and bad ones, I guess. But the Utrom basically they had made the ooze that turned the turtles into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Splinter from a regular rat into a ninja rat, and you know elderly mutant ninja rat, I guess. so yeah, they'd made the ooze, and when the boys were out running around, Splinter was missing, and they were hiding in April's apartment. But Raphael's, of course, it would be Raphael, suggested that they go outside and run around on the rooftops and get loose and do some like ninja training. And they happened to find the TCRI building, and they recognized the TCRI logo from the ooze canister. And when they went to explore, they found to their horror that Splinter was being kept in a suspended animation tube, and they assumed he'd been captured by these TCRI people, who turned out to not be human beings at all, but actually androids being piloted by these brain creatures. And I remember the panel where it's like a full splash page with the reveal that these TCRI workers were actually androids piloted by these brain creatures, and they're sitting on the table in the break room enjoying their snack or whatever in just like the most casual manner. And when you're a kid reading this, and I was like maybe like 11 or 12, I think, when I first read this, it was like it's creepy to see these brain creatures just, especially just sitting around so casually. So the boys assume the worst, and they think that Splinter has been captured by these things. When it turns out that what really happened was that they'd found Splinter, and he was wounded, and they were actually trying to nurse him back to health. And then they wind up being accidentally zapped into a transmat device, and have a few adventures with like the Triceratons and Cerebus. You want to say that right? Cerebus, the Dave Sim character, the barbarian Aardvark. Wind up having a few adventures, and then they come back, and basically the TCRI aliens, they explained to them what exactly was up and how they were trapped on this planet and they were trying to get home, and that yeah, they accidentally created the ooze that turned them into mutants, and I believe Donatello is able to help them fix their transmat device so that they can actually go home. if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I read it. Anyway, uh, these creatures, like I said, they weren't necessarily bad guys, although they were kind of adversaries for the turtles in this story. Uh, when they were making the Ninja Turtles cartoon, and they wanted the Shredder to have androids, so that the foot soldiers would be androids, so that the boys could, just hack and smash into them with their weapons and not have to worry about censorship. Uh, they had to have a way to explain why the Shredder had these things, and their explanation was, well, he teamed up with an alien. And since there already were aliens in the Ninja Turtles comics, it only made sense to kind of base Krang off of that one. Now, I don't think the intention was that Krang was actually an Utrom, though. I believe that Krang was somebody that they're you could interpret this a number of ways, I guess, but I believe that Krang was supposed to be a guy who had like an actual body and was somehow stripped of it when he was banished to this dimension, and that was why he was so embarrassed for the rock soldiers to see him without his body. But then again, he seemed fine to have everybody see him in the stomach of this thing. So maybe he was more like an Utrom. I don't know. They did retcon him to be an Utrom in the 2012 series, where like the Krang were an offshoot of the Utroms, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the 87 version because this is clearly based on the 87 version. So here's the card. That's what the front looks like. That's what the back looks like. It says Krang, alien brain, and a Megator android, mutagen master powers. Krang, genius alien warlord, master strategist and tactician. Dimension X gadgets and tech. Megator, giant strength and an android body, grows to giant size and weapon augmentation. That was something that they actually did with Krang on the 87 cartoon. He could turn his hands into weapons and things. So anyway, let's go ahead and get him out. So the main thing that makes him like Megator, I think, is the green skin, because Krang's android body always had like kind of pale Caucasian skin before. Here's Krang himself. We'll talk about him in a little bit. And here's the midsection with the android body. And you can see this is designed almost to look kind of like a castle turret with that sort of brick structure to it. And the front opens up, and that's how we'll fit Krang inside. Let's go ahead and put Krang in there while we're talking about it. So it's got these little holes for his tentacles to go through in this opening here. And there we go. We got Krang in there. I'll talk more about Krang in a little bit. Then we've got these weapons. And we've seen both of these weapons before because we've opened up other figures that have reused these. But this one actually came first. So this is where Casey Jones' axe came from originally. And that explains why it's got the attachment there, where it attaches to his hockey stick. Well, it was originally supposed to attach to Krang's wrist. Now this chain is held in with some rubber tabs, and always really annoying on something like a chain. But there we've got the same mace that I happen to have it still over here. The same mace that came with 2-Bop Steady, only this time instead of being colored in yellow and blue, it's colored in gunmetal gray and kind of a copper color for the chain. Same copper color that's on his midsection piece. We'll set that aside for now. And it's Krang apparently does not have any rubber tabs or anything actually holding the android body in the packaging. That just comes right out. So that's nice. Now this reuses a lot of parts from the Masters of the WWE Universe Andre the Giant figure, which itself was supposed to be kind of an homage to Titanus, I think was the name of the good giant. And this is an homage to the evil giant Megator. So if you were lucky enough to get that Andre figure, which I was not, then you have both Titanus and Megator. So the hands come off, and you can replace them with the weapons, like I said. And oops, the bracer came off. Let me get that back on there. And you can see there's a little peg there, and that should just peg right into the wrist. And there we go. There's that. So he can swing the mace around, and you can do the same with the axe. But also, since the axe has an actual handle on it, he can hold on to that too. But the mace doesn't have a handle, so really the only way that he can hold the mace is having it plugged into his wrist like that. But there's where he looks like all armed up, but obviously he's not entirely put together because we've got another section here, which is the section with Krang himself. This figure is not Krang. This figure is Krang's android body. Krang is the little pink brain thing. Let's go ahead and get him all put together. So that's what Krang looks like fully assembled in his highlighting his android body, and the proportions are kind of weird, but that's how he's proportioned on the show. You know, he always seemed to have kind of a long trunk of a body because of the the section to put the android brain in. So I do feel like Krang himself, little pink brain thing there, is a little undersized. It's smaller even than your typical Masters of the Universe head, whereas Krang was usually depicted as being somewhat larger than a human head. But you know, I guess they figured that was the only way they could really fit him into the section there. Chowdy Ma is there with us. He says, "Cowabunga, dudes! Cowabunga indeed! Welcome to the show. Always good to see you." So, and it does look like this the little top knot here is posable, and you can swing that around and get that into some dramatic kind of action positions. Krang was designed by I believe the guy's name is Peter Chung. He was best known to animation fans as the creator of Aeon Flux. But before Aeon Flux, he worked on a lot of cartoons in the 80s, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That brilliant opening sequence that we all remember from the show, one of the best opening sequences of any cartoon series ever made. Peter Chung directed that, designed that, storyboarded that. I think he had pictures of it up on his Instagram page. Very cool. But he designed Krang, and I think of all the designs, Krang's is the one that shows the most of what would be his later style when we get into like Aeon Flux. But yeah, Krang was the android body was designed to look like a sumo wrestler, which I did not ever catch that. Which is surprising that it seems like the sort of thing I would catch, but I never did. And in hindsight, to me, it seems kind of obvious, and I should have caught it. But yeah, kind of makes sense because sumo wrestler versus ninja. It's like two Japanese things, so that worked out pretty well. But the sumo thing isn't quite as obvious with this version of Krang, since he's green and a bit more muscular, since he's using his Masters of the Universe body. So let's go ahead and we'll take the mace out of the wrist and put his hand back in, because I want to talk about the articulation some. Also, Krang on the cartoon, I believe his eyes were colored in lavender, but usually on the toys, the eyes are colored in yellow, and that's no exception here. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. Krang in the android body. The android body can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt its head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. This creature is an automaton, at least the original Krang was. So, and it's just piloted by Krang. He's this is Krang. Make no mistake, the little brain thing inside there is Krang. This thing is just the android body. So the arms can, of course, rotate all the way around, and they move up about that far. He's got a single joint of articulation of the elbow, which moves in about that far and rotates all the way around. Krang can rotate all the way around at the waist, where the The midsection meets the trunks is where you can rotate. Technically, you can kind of rotate a little bit here too, but it doesn't go all the way around because the armor winds up bumping into the midsection here. Uh, Krang can kick up about that far. He's got a single joint of articulation at the knee that rotates all the way around, bends about that far. He can do the splits, kinda, sorta. Uh, boot rotates all the way around, and these look to be like a scaled up version of He-Man's boots. They're like a bigger version of that. All these parts basically look like a bigger Masters of the Universe figure. So I wonder if they'll ever get around to doing a proper uh, Titanus and Megator for us. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, Megator originally didn't come with boots, but I'm guessing that they didn't feel like making all new feet for this guy. And besides, Krang actually did have little red booties, so it does make sense for him to have boots. So that's fine. Anyway, Krang was, of course, one of the main villains on the series. Usually teamed up with the Shredder. Let's go ahead and have a look at him with the axe plugged into the wrist. So, and him and Shredder had kind of an odd working relationship where they didn't really like each other, they didn't really trust each other, and they bickered all the time. And but I think that they did eventually wind up having some kind of weird affection for each other, like where Shredder was actually concerned when Krang's android body got damaged at some point and fixed him. But but yeah, they tended to bicker like an old married couple. It's just funny. but but yeah, so like I kind of feel like any Ninja Turtles action figure collection is incomplete without Krang. He is one of the more important characters from the original cartoon, and has had like a few appearances in other media afterwards. I already mentioned he was on the 2012 Nickelodeon cartoon. The Utrom in that we were introduced to them through the Krang, which was we found out a subset of the Utrom was the Krang, and that the original Krang himself was one of these Krang, at least in that version. They retconned it, and then Krang was the main villain in the sequel to the first Michael Bay movie, uh, Out of the Shadows, where they tried to bring in more elements from the cartoon to try to, save that franchise, but it was a little, too little, too late kind of thing. So, we never saw another movie set in that continuity again. They did the Mutation Mayhem, I think it was called, instead. Uh, and then who knows what the future holds for the Ninja Turtles and Krang going forward. I know they're going to do another live action reboot. Hopefully that one will work out better than the Michael Bay one did. uh, but I like Mutation Mayhem. Hopefully I haven't seen that yet myself, but hopefully that's something kids at least like. So anyway, Krang's pretty cool. I'm glad I was able to get him. I wound up kind of sitting on him a while, sleeping on him, and then Walmart had all the deluxe figures marked down to $15. So then I absolutely had to buy them. So that brings, at least for now, that brings our look at Turtles of Grayskull to a close. If you've enjoyed these and you want to see more, don't worry. I'm probably going to get more figures from this line sometime in the future, but I don't have any more to open up at the moment. And we do have a lot more stuff to get to, so that's fine. Even though we're done with Turtles of Grayskull, we are not done with Masters of the Universe because I have a trio of cartoon collection figures to open up for you. I have back behind me, I have Faker. I have to look ahead and be really careful with this package because this package is falling apart. It's like he's about to fall off this card. I'm not kidding. So we got the cartoon collection version of Faker, finally. And then we have Catra. So I'm excited about those. And we've got Voltak, which Voltak is actually, I think, going to be the next one that I open up. And he was an exclusive to the Mattel Creations website. So yeah, I've had him for a little bit, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because now that I've got these other two cartoon collection figures, I like to have stuff grouped together when I open it up. So, but anyway, that's it for Krang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Krang, both this figure and the character in general. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.